Paul Baribault grew up in Lewiston and knew early on he wanted to be a writer, but his journey didn't exactly go that way. It wasn't until later in life where he started pursuing his passion for writing. He now works with local artists like Rick Belanger, and both join us in our studio to talk about some of the exciting things that you guys have worked on over the years together. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thanks for having us.
Paul, let's start with your journey.
Okay. Like a lot of people who write, I was filling journals with all kinds of odds and ends, and I was living in Vermont at the time, and I went to a town meeting, and it was such a colorful experience to see all these people in really dramatic modes, and I got home and I thought, there's a play there. And the next day I started and I was off and running. You
have been asked more recently to write plays for certain things, so people have been asking for your help. What do you enjoy about writing plays?
I think it just comes this is the form that comes most naturally to me. I've never tried my hand at a novel or even a short story, which is where most writers start. I don't know why it was plays. The example of that first play is probably the best. It just lent itself, that environment, that scene lent itself to writing a play with multiple colorful characters.
You and Rick worked together on something called Sleepy Heads. How did you get connected with Rick? You both grew up in Lewiston, but
he's my cousin.
He's your cousin?
Yeah. I've known him since he was
very small. Yes.
Yeah.
So when he reached out to you and said, I have this idea, here's what I have so far, did you just immediately get right into illustrating?
No. Well, first of all, I didn't know if I could do what he wanted. You know, it's a very personal relationship between the writer and artist, and you know, I knew he had specific ideas, and so we had to talk. We met, and he went over the story with me, and then right away, from what he was telling me, I started generating ideas, and I started doing sketches, and I think that Paul liked the sketches right away, and he liked the ideas, how I was pulling his thoughts out into imagery, and so at that point I decided, yeah, I'll give this a shot. But I always told him that, you know, if you don't like the way this is coming, because he did work with other illustrators, so don't feel like because of the family relationship that you have to keep me on board here. You can cut me anytime, but
and I never even came close to that.
Yeah,
Rick is so talented.
I thank you. No, it wasn't immediate. It was kind of like, you know, let's see how it works at first, and went from there.
You teach illustration too, Rick. How difficult can it be to teach that skill?
It's extremely difficult because, you know, when you think about it, well, first of all, a lot of it's done on computer nowadays. I know there's traditional artists that work with traditional media, but I teach primarily using software to create these illustrations. And so first they have to learn the technical aspects before they can learn the creative aspects. So it's kind of like learning all over again. How do you make a line? How do you make different types of strokes, and how do you use color and so on? And then once you learn how to use the technical part of the software, then you have to learn, you know, the creative side. How do you bring your own creativity and imagination into that? So it's basically like a 2-year process at my school. The first year is entirely spent with software, and the second year is mostly on skill and design.
Paul, part of your mission too is inspiring kids to get into writing.
Yeah.
Why is that so important?
I think when I was at LLB and I saw how slim were the writing skills of a lot of people, and I thought it's something that kids need to start doing at a young age to get involved in writing. And to this day, I would recommend that parents put a journal by their kid's bed and let them keep a dream journal. It would be a source material. It would be source material for any assignments they get at school, but it would get them into the habit of writing. And writing is a skill that you're going to use, as you know, for all of your life. And the better your writing, the better your chances of succeeding in life.
All right, Paul, Rick, thank you so much for coming in, talking about your books. You can find more information on the 207 section of our website, and we will be right back.